Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. So I just want to say thank you to Whitney for reacting to one of my videos. I will admit I have not watched it, but I did hear about it. I haven't watched it because I'm a little bit of a pussy though. That's why. I get nervous, especially in my current state where I'm nervous a lot. So I get nervous to watch stuff that is reacting to me, which is so bad and whatever. And you can call me a coward and you can say I'm the worst. And my haters do. And my haters are like, oh, you don't like it when somebody says something to you. You don't like it. Da, 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 da. I don't. No, I'm just kidding. It's probably fine. I'm just gonna have to watch it at a different time, I think. And then I might watch it at the gym or something. But either way, I am tired. I'm tired, Whitney. So I'm gonna react to this because I feel like I probably need this message in my vanity weight era. And I also maybe will have some counter narratives, but also obviously probably mostly agree because I haven't been complaining as much. I complain as much as I can, but compared to my MSP, mid-sized princess era, I don't complain nearly as much as I used to. But I got this. Let's go. Let's watch.
Weight loss is hard, but you're either gonna have to get used to it or stay fat. Hey everyone, welcome back to the 1 Year, 100 Pounds podcast. My name is Whitney Holcomb and I am author of the book, 1 Year, 100 Pounds. For those of you who are new here, I lost 100 pounds on my own when I was 14 years old. And I wrote a book about my experience, which is right behind me. And it is a tough love weight loss guide for how I lost the weight and how you can too. Losing weight completely transformed my life. I went from the bullied fat girl to living life as a model and just going after my dreams. And it really was making the decision to lose weight, to get healthy, to become the more ideal version of myself. And that led to me living my more ideal life. So I lost 100 pounds when I was younger, but I have kept it off for almost 20 years. So as we know, losing weight is one thing in itself. It is obviously a very amazing feat, but so is keeping it off. Because the thing is, you have to continue doing the same things that you did to lose weight if you want to keep it off. Otherwise, you'll just go back to where you were when you were fat. And this doesn't mean that my weight hasn't fluctuated over the years. That's normal. I have just like anyone else, but I've always maintained a healthy weight for my size. And that is just due to the habits that I instilled in myself when I was younger. I still enjoy myself when I want to. Sometimes I enjoy myself a little too often, but I also still stick to a regular workout schedule. I know what is healthy for me. I know what I should be eating, when I shouldn't be eating it. I eat.
Oh, 1 second.
Healthy, non-processed diet because that's what works best for me as far as feeling my best and looking my best. And it also reduces my desire to binge on foods like I was when I was fat. Because like I've said so many times on my channel, processed foods, they are addicting and they are addicting for a reason. And obese people in particular, I believe that we have the genetic markers or whatever to be even more addicted to them. That's why.
So I will say, I do feel like there are times where I do have processed foods still. I've told you guys a lot, I do have candy quite often. But as far as percentage of my calories, I'm eating about, oh my gosh, I don't even want to say it. I know to a lot of the girlies, it's going to sound like a lot, but for me, it's not at all. I'm 6'1", so I'm currently having 2,026 a day. And to me, it's oh my Lord Jesus. That is very low to me. It's tough, honestly. So I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of tough. But I'll have candy, but it's 400 calories of it. So I don't know what percentage that is, or technically 440 if you want to be super extra. I've been having candy corn. So it's not like tons of the percentage. I don't even know what that would be. I guess 20%, I think. Yeah, if I'm correct, if my brain cells are working. So that means 80% is pretty much like, you know, chicken breast, meats. I make sure I have dairy or some kind of calcium, and I make sure I have enough vitamin C every day. So I have to be kind of stringent about things like that. And I don't have bread and stuff. I don't have starch at all. So it's kind of like, it's pretty strict, to be honest. And some of my foods now, they are kind of diet culture. Like I have like protein shakes really often, just because it's easy to get the calcium and some protein in for like a relatively low amount of calories. You know, like I still do have processed foods, is all I'm trying to say. But I could see in maintenance, it's probably better not to, because there isn't as much of a need. And I feel like when you're in maintenance, there's a different mindset, and it can be really, really easy to overeat. So I agree with her in maintenance. I think it's a little bit different. But it's that tiny little bit of nuance, you know, it's tiny. Because for me, that little bit of candy, it helps me. It gives me energy, and it helps me go to the gym. Like tomorrow I'm going to have pudding. I know that's random, but I have milk in the fridge, and I'm going to make pudding out of it. It has some sugar in it, you know. But again, I don't have starch ever. So I never eat bread or rice or anything when I'm losing weight. So if I didn't have sugar, I would literally be almost completely keto, which I don't want to be. And fruit is just not enough of a kick energy-wise for me to like get up and go to the gym, basically. So it just depends, I guess, on what works for you. But yeah, sometimes I do have to reach for more energy available foods, or foods where I can get energy fast, so that I can continue to function, because it's hard. And especially now, like I'm struggling just filming right now, you know. It's tough. It's very tough. It is not for the weak. I agree with her. Like it's hard. But point is, I do agree, especially in maintenance, just because you're in a different mindset, it's probably better to eat less processed or make your own treats or stuff like that, just because it kind of helps. Because I think it is easier. It can be easier to overeat in a maintenance mindset. So that's all I'm trying to say. Okay.
There are some people who can stop at a few French fries and feel satisfied, and then there are people like us who can't. Like we need to keep going until we have, you know, stuff ourselves silly, basically. But I say all this because I know what it takes to lose weight. I've done it before. I've even had my own recent weight loss journey where I've lost almost 40 pounds. So I did it when I was younger. I've done it as an adult, and I know how to keep it off. So I recently did a video titled, "This is Why You're Fat." And it was basically my commentary on why I believe that so many women or so many people struggle with weight loss. And I based the video off of just some TikToks that I had seen, and you know, other stuff I'd seen on social media. It was not really so much about those particular women as it was just a trend I was seeing in social media. And basically the trend was women going online and, you know, bigger women, and just confessing how they were having a hard time with losing weight. And yes, I know, you know, losing weight is hard, and I was not trying to dog on them for complaining, I get it. But what I noticed, or was a trend in all of these posts, were the things they were complaining about. So for example, one girl was talking about, oh, she's just, you know, so upset that she's not naturally skinny like her other friends. She's upset that she has to, you know, her life revolves around getting 10,000 steps and making sure she's eating healthy and drinking enough water, and it's just really frustrating for her. And the other posts that I had mentioned were very similar. Like they were talking about how, oh gosh, you know, I have to get up every morning and go to my spin class, and then I have to have chickpea pasta for lunch instead of regular pasta, and you know, I'm still struggling with losing weight, and it's really hard. First of all, let me just say right now, I know it's hard. I'm not dogging on these girls for complaining necessarily, but like I said, what I wanted to point out was what they are complaining about. And this is where I wonder where a lot of people get weight loss wrong, or why they struggle with weight loss. They don't realize that it is meant to be hard. It is hard, but it also gets easier the more you do it.
I think especially at like a vanity weight level, it is hard. This is the first time in my entire journey that it has gotten harder. Like, truly. There have been times where it's gotten harder emotionally. Like, I would say my last era, my mid-sized princess era that you guys witnessed, that was difficult emotionally. Very difficult. Even like my tortured morbid obesity era, that was hard emotionally and physically. It was difficult. But it was a little bit harder socially, just because I had to kind of it's like you're breaking that mental matrix of being super morbidly obese and no longer being that. And it's like you're thinking about, like, I can fit in this chair, or I can think about this. Like, you start thinking about bigger life questions that you haven't looked at because maybe you were focused on your weight so much, or, whatever. Like, it's harder, like, I guess, internally in some ways, or even interpersonally. I'd say those two stages were kind of harder. But then when I was in like the small fat era, which is getting towards like class 1 obesity, it was a lot easier, but it was just a little bit hard in terms of discipline. But it wasn't hard physically. It was hard to focus, and everything else. Super morbid obesity was the hardest thing ever. It was the hardest phase of weight loss. It still is, even to this day. But this is the first time where it's gotten physically harder at this stage. Like, I am very tired very often. And so I have to constantly think about energy levels and stuff. And I think I am adjusting quite well. I do feel better emotionally though, so it is interesting to have like that kind of internal grace, or like that blessing where internally it's better, except I do feel paranoid sometimes, which is weird. That's a weird thing to say, but I get kind of paranoid, where it's like I have fears all of a sudden, and I still had nightmares. Like, I had a nightmare last night that me and my mom were being attacked by like bloodthirsty creatures that were trying to kill us, so it's kind of weird still sometimes, but that's really it. Like, I don't ever feel like I should cry or something. Like, I don't feel that way, and I don't feel angry anymore or anything, so it's easier mentally. But physically it's really hard. It's tough, it's not for the faint of heart. And I think sometimes too, I struggle with what I've been calling dieting nihilism, or diet nihilism, some Lana nihilism in my Lana era. It's hard because you start to feel sometimes like it doesn't matter. Why am I even doing this? What is this even for? What is the point? What is the point? I think that's a big question that comes up a lot in a vanity weight era. And I try not to think about that much, but that's the only thing that's like hard mentally. But it comes from like a feeling of not caring about anything, or not caring. It's like you're too tired to care. But that's still, I have to be careful with that, is what I'm trying to say. But physically, it's like I'm so tired. The workouts are brutal. They're not fun at all. I do feel restricted in terms of food. And it is hard to just accept that. I feel like I'm making a sacrifice. I really do. And it is difficult in a way that I haven't felt in other stages. I haven't felt like it was a sacrifice. Before, it felt like I was getting my life back, or I was getting better. But when you spend so much of this journey feeling better as you lose, and all of a sudden you feel worse, it is a little tough. So, yeah, it is hard. It is. It's always hard though. Like I agree with Whitney. It's always hard the whole way through. But man, and I understand why somebody would be eating chickpea pasta at this stage. It's like I understand those diet culture things. Like I have this, for example, just sitting here from this morning, lemon lime alive ancient mushroom elixir. Having a hell of a lot of caffeine. Some of you guys suggested that, and it's like it doesn't even hit anymore. It's wild. It's tough. So, but anyways, I get that because it has a lot of vitamin C in it and it's only 20 calories. So that's why I get it. But anyways, just the fact that I said that out loud. Oh.
And it also is something that you have to do that has to be part of your regular routine. So for example, when they were complaining about doing the workouts, their life revolves around getting 10,000 steps, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing.
This your bag, sir?
What gave it away?
Oh, you the
Or skinny or fat, exercise should be a priority for everyone. Just for everyone.
True. I agree. 100% agree. I think it needs to be seen as something like brushing your teeth. It's just a very practical thing that is a part of life. So where I'm talking about like the workouts are really hard, it's just hard to do at this level of a deficit. It's very hard. That's what I'm talking about. When I'm not in a deficit, it's so easy. Oh my gosh, it's like crazy. It is literally like night and day. But again, that's a part of that, the sacrifice of a vanity weight era. It is a sacrifice. So I take that sacrifice and I do it, but it's really hard. And I don't like it. So I typically don't like it when I go to the gym. And then I don't really feel that great after, typically. Like I think that might be part of why I had nightmares last night, because I went to the gym. And Tuesday, my bonus day at the gym, it's been a really tough sell for me. And I don't think I'm ever going to like it. I've been doing it for months or, a while. I think since June, but maybe July. But regardless, like it's not, like I have a different mindset about it, like where I'm not angry about it. But it's really tough on me physically. So I have a hard time sometimes on Wednesdays, which Wednesdays are my physical rest day where I don't exercise at all. But I am like active walking and I go to the gym 3 days a week now. So it's like that can be tough. It can. And I don't think I'm going to do the bonus day when I'm in maintenance. I think I'm just going to go twice. I do full body those 2 days. So the bonus day, it is extra, but you have to do a little bit extra in a vanity weight era, in my opinion. So it's tough. And I also have to do it because I need a dopamine boost in between, because I can't really handle going that long without lifting in a deficit. It's tough, but I'm okay. But I'm just trying to give some added perspective. Like I'm in it, Whitney. Like I'm in the trenches, so I'm trying to give that perspective of being in it at this moment.
Okay, getting 10,000 steps a day, I hate to say it, but it really shouldn't be that hard. Okay, so again, as humans, we evolved to move. Okay, we were hunter-gatherers. We evolved to be able to walk miles upon miles per day looking for food.
When I'm working, I typically get like 16,000 pretty easily, but I like to pace a lot and stuff. Maybe less now, to be honest. I don't think I move as much now. But still, I agree, 10,000 is not the hardest in the world unless if you're totally sedentary, which I would not suggest in a weight loss journey. I think it's really tough. I think in some ways it can be even harder to lose when you're totally sedentary, honestly.
bodies were designed to move. Okay? They were designed to help us walk to find food. They were designed to help us run away from predators. They were designed to help us build shelter. And I also hate to say it, but getting 10,000 steps per day, it shouldn't be that hard. Like it should not be hard for the average person. I understand that it is because now the average person is very unhealthy, but it shouldn't be. And for example, 10,000 steps for me is kind of like a regular routine. I mean, I do like 3 miles, like a little over 3 miles almost every day, walking outside. And then, you know, I also count the steps that, you know.
Walking becomes really easy as you lose. Like it's super, super, super easy for me now. I don't even really consider it a workout at all, but when I was super morbid, it was very much a workout. So that becomes really easy to do. And I think they were talking like a lot of people are talking about the study like for health benefits. The number is like around 7,000, but I do think 10,000 is good for weight loss purposes in general. So I just wanted to clarify that too.
You do inside, whether you're cleaning or doing whatever. For example, like I got 6 miles in the other day, literally just from cleaning the house, running errands, kind of walking around the downtown a little bit. I didn't exercise at all that day, but I burned like over 500 calories and got in 6 miles walking just from doing that, right? Just from doing regular, normal, everyday active activities. And you know, look, the same goes with eating healthy. Like everyone should prioritize eating healthy, whether you are fat or slim. And these are things that, yes, it is hard when you're losing weight and you're new to it to like, you know, kind of get into that routine. But these are things that even if you are slim, you should be doing anyway, especially if you
have to get your nutrients in. For example, I focus a lot on nutrition and I try to get certain things every day, but a lot of people, they think like they shouldn't have to even think about it, and that's not realistic either.
Are someone who is obese and you lose the weight, you have to realize you have to continue doing those same habits even after you lose the weight if you want to maintain it. Because again, otherwise you will go back to being like you were. So that was
even when I was in maintenance, I still focused a lot on getting enough calcium and vitamin C and stuff because I just feel better when I do that. Like I have a better mood and stuff. So, and I wasn't taking my herbs, so I needed to be careful, and I was still better. So I'm going to do that forever for sure.
My whole point in that video, where it just seemed like they were making their weight loss harder than it had to be because of their mindset. And also maybe because of the other reasons I've said so many times, like, look, as a marathon runner, I can tell you, it does not matter how much you work out, right? How many steps you get in a day. If you are not tracking your calories, you will not lose weight. And you may be thinking that you're eating a normal amount. You may even be thinking you're eating a calorie deficit, but it's very easy, especially if you're eating a typical Western diet, it is very easy to go over that calorie.
I think it's kind of true, especially within the vanity weight era as well. I think in some cases people can still lose, but it's very rare. I think the vast majority of people, especially in a vanity weight era, would need to track to get progress.
Calorie limit, and it only takes like a couple hundred calories, and you know, I'm not saying you're gonna gain weight if you're running marathons, but you'll just maintain it. And again, I know this, okay, like when I'm trained for marathons, I run, you know, on average, it's running anywhere from 3 to like 10, 20 miles a day, okay? Like no joke, it's a serious training program. Didn't lose a pound. Not a pound. Not that I was trying to at the time when I was doing it, but I'm just saying, like, unless you are tracking those calories, and I wasn't binge eating either. It's not like I was doing these marathons and binge eating. I was just eating enough to sustain myself. And it doesn't seem like a lot unless you're tracking it. So those were the points I was trying to make in that video.
Like your body, when it's in a natural state, or when it's especially doesn't have severe hormone issues or that kind of thing, your body will tend to push you to maintain where you're at, with the exception of like right after being in a deficit, or, you know, then you might want to eat a surplus if you just kind of go for it. So I'm going to be very careful about tracking, especially next year. In maintenance and everything, I'm going to track just because I really have to stabilize before I would try to just see how it goes for a while. You know what I mean? But no, not for quite a while. I can consider 2026 to be like a retainer, you know, a retainer year. So I plan on counting the whole year because I need to stabilized, basically. And you have to kind of get your hormones back and into like a normal state and do what you need to do. You might have to build some muscle. Like, there's a lot of stuff. We'll talk about it when I get to the maintenance phase. But I do think there are, there's some strategies I've been thinking about that I'm going to implement, and I'm going to share it with you guys. So,
of course, I got backlash for it because anything you put online, no matter what you say, will get backlash. But I thought it was interesting to kind of do a video on this and talk about the reality that,
when you want to feel clean and soft, try new Dial Healthy Hydration.
Yeah, weight loss is hard. And what so many people mentioned in the comments was like, oh, well, you were 14 when you lost it, so it was so much easier for you. And some of this is because I actually said the fact that weight loss was easy for me. And what I mean is weight loss kind of was easy for me because I think it was my mindset. It's not that it was easy in that I loved going to the gym every day. I didn't have to work hard to change my eating habits. I did.
I think it was definitely, that might be why she lost 100 in a year. Because she was 14, I think it is harder, or it's slower after 25, in my opinion. I think for both sexes, I think it is slower after 25, but it's not like impossible or whatever. It's just a little bit different, unless if you're doing something kind of extreme. But it is easier when you're younger. But she said she lost, as an adult, like 40 pounds. That's still an accomplishment. Like, I don't think we should act like that's nothing. That isn't nothing. So, I mean, I don't know if that person knew that, but I'm just saying I know it because she just said it. So, no, she still knows how to do it.
I had to do all the work, and there was definitely some discipline that I had to instill in myself. I had to learn. But what really, I think, made it easier for me, or just kind of made that stuff not seem like such a big deal, is that my mindset. Like, I really wanted to change. When I was 14 years old, I was so done with being the bullied fat girl. I was so done with the life I was living that I believed, okay, if I lose this weight, like, that is like my big hurdle. If I lose this weight, then, I can do anything afterwards, right? Like, then that is like the biggest thing that I hated about myself in my life. So I want to, get this over with. I want to overcome this. And for me, I knew that, okay, if I have to eat right and exercise, like, that seemed like a small price to pay for the life of my dreams. So when I was learning about how to lose weight, like how to measure out portion sizes, how long I need to work out, like, again, to me, that stuff was kind of exciting. Like, I looked forward to it. It was totally new for me. And I learned so much during that year. It was such a transformative year. And of course, I felt better. So the more I did these things and the more I saw the results, like, it inspired and motivated me more. And of course, it's not to say that there were not bad moments where I felt, okay, don't want to work out, or I didn't have plateaus. Of course, all that happened. But again, it was still my mindset. I knew I had to keep going. I knew that there was the treasure at the end of the rainbow. So that's what kept me going. I didn't focus on the fact that, oh, it sucks because all my friends are eating pizza and I want to eat pizza. Yeah. I mean, again, I had those days too.
Yeah, that can be hard. And I feel like I try to offer that perspective of that person, Like, I often try to talk about the super emotional journeys that some people have, just because I want to try to make a lane for somebody in that too. Because while I totally don't disagree with Whitney's take at all, I think it is a little hard if you're really emotional or caught up in your feelings all the time. It's hard to just be that disciplined right out the gate. I think it's kind of incredible how disciplined she was at 14. I was not at all. I wasn't somewhat disciplined until my 20s. I kind of flopped, to be honest. Flopped hard. So I think it's, I try to cover, I'm a Swiftie, so I used to call it the midnight rain side of weight loss rather than the sunshine side of weight loss. But I still think that they're both valid in a sense, and they both, you have to have some kind of combination. You have to deal with your emotions too, typically. But I think for some of us, like me, you have to spend a lot of time dealing with the emotions, a lot. So it's interesting. But yeah, I could see those types of thoughts too. Like, I've had a lot of those thoughts lately, like, especially when I got back from my trip. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I just want to enjoy food again, you know? But then I just am like, well, like, you give yourself a time. So I'm going to tell you guys here and now, like, when you're in a vanity weight era, give yourself a time frame. So I tell myself, you're going until November. November's not that long. Blah, 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 right? Like, and you have to kind of think of it that way. I don't suggest doing vanity weight eras for like a year or like 6 months. You know, I think it should be probably 3 months or less because of like hard deficiting. I'm still going to build up to maintenance in November, but still, I think what's helping me right now is understanding the time frame and just being like, yes, this is a sacrifice, but it's for a time. And that helps. So you create a time schedule. That can help.
But I didn't focus on I wasn't focusing on the negative aspects. I thought, you know what? Yeah, I have to eat this salad. But guess what? If I eat this salad, I'm one step closer to my dreams. And I think I also realized too that I did want to be healthy. Probably the biggest reason I wanted to lose weight was just to look better and fit in. But I also did want to be healthy. And I guess even back then, I knew that I cannot continue living the way I'm living, eating the way I'm eating. I knew that if I wanted to lose the weight and then keep it off, I would have to become a different person. And I was fine with that. I wanted to be a different person. I was so ready for a total transformation. So in that way, I accepted that it was going to be hard. I accepted that.
I just have to say, because I'm cheesy, but this very Scorpio, it's a very Scorpio thing to say. So I've been thinking about astrology a lot lately just because I'm an astro girly pop. But I was like, whoa, that's super Scorp. Because I think I was just been thinking about it because I'm like, I feel like my Scorpio side is like dormant right now. I feel like it's all Virgo. I feel like a Virgo. I'm just like, I'm tired. And I'm like I'm just, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like a flop or anything. I just feel like normal. I just feel normal. And I guess to me, my normal side is my Virgo side. So there you go.
To the gym at least 3 days a week. I'm gonna have to change the way I eat. I'm gonna have to probably skip out on some desserts and not eat like the rest of my friends are eating because...
It's true. Very true.
Goal in mind. I know what I want. So that's why I say it was easy for me in that way. And this is not to say that I still don't recognize that it's hard for people. I definitely will come out and say, you know, look, yeah, as a 14-year-old, I think it was definitely easier even now that I'm trying to lose weight now. But me personally, well, and scientifically, I know it's not a metabolism thing. Like, this has been proven that your metabolism basically stays the same from like a teenager up until around like, you know, 50s, 60s. For women, it's probably like once you hit menopause, and that can be a little bit, it's obviously a little bit different for everyone. But for the most part, like, if you're like my age, you're 33, it's not your metabolism why you gain the weight or why you're having trouble losing the weight. There are a lot of other factors, I understand, okay? I think as adults, we just have totally different lifestyles than we did when we were kids. Even if we don't realize it, we are not as active as we were. Even if we're working out, I think people don't realize that even if you're doing a 30-minute workout every day, but then you sit for the next like 7.5 hours at your desk, still not as active as you probably were back when you were a kid and you were walking to your friends' houses or riding a bike.
Yeah, the only thing I will say is, like, if you're really, really big, it causes hormonal imbalance, which those hormonal imbalances, they are worse after 25. It's like they're more ingrained. So it's like if you've been super morbidly obese, once you're 25, it's like that mental matrix of it all, it's more cemented. It's just harder. It is harder. And then your thyroid and stuff is more fucked up from having the weight on you for a longer period of time. And so those hormonal issues, they are often more pronounced post 25, whereas that's why you'll see like a lot of young people that are like 200 pounds overweight and they'll just lose the weight really fast because it's easier mentally and physically to lose a drastic amount of weight because those things are not as ingrained. Whereas like doing it in my 30s, you know, I described in 2023, like I legitimately had an identity crisis due to the hormone fluctuations and the fact that my thyroid was getting better and it was changing the way my brain worked, because it was also like, you know, it's crazy. It's really crazy. But again, I don't think, you know, Whitney was not, she was not super morbidly obese for like decades of her life, you know? So she wouldn't necessarily know that, but I'm just trying to give that perspective to that specific, you know, that specific point. Like, but metabolically and stuff and like calorie wise and things like that, yes, I agree with her. But hormones do matter just in terms of hunger and like, you know, your brain being more cemented, it's also harder. So I think that also has to be stated, basically.
Didn't have a car, you're walking through the hallways at school, when you're doing after school activities, you probably weren't as focused on food back then because you were just busy doing stuff. So lifestyles change, I get that. You have kids, you have relationships, you have so much more going on in your life that makes it more difficult to lose weight. I know for me personally, I found it harder to lose weight as I'm older for a lot of those reasons, not the kids part, I don't have kids. I think it's just more of like I said, it's a lifestyle change, it's like a mental hurdle. So I am not saying that it's just easy peasy for everyone, and if you're not, you know, if it's not easy for you, then you're just an idiot. But what I am saying is that you're still gonna have to do the same stuff to lose weight as anyone else. What I mean is you're still gonna have to work out. You're still gonna have to eat healthy. You're still gonna have to track your calories. You're still gonna have to do the hard stuff.
Things.
And it doesn't matter what you have going on in your life. No one else can do it for you. Okay, I'm sorry, your life might suck. You might be a single mom and you might have all this other stuff going on in your life, and it feels like it's near impossible for you to get anything done. Look, I feel for you, for sure. Your life is harder than mine. It will be a much harder path for you to do it than it was for me. It might take you longer than it took me. Doesn't change the fact that you're still gonna have to do it if you wanna lose weight.
Steps.
Again, losing weight is hard.
It's the same steps. I am lucky, I'm blessed within my lifestyle right now. Like, there are certain things that do help me, like I can sleep in and stuff like that because I work for myself, so I can choose my schedule and stuff. So there are certain aspects, you know, plus I have developed quite a system of weight loss over years of doing it. So because my journey has been so long haul, I'm also very set up to do this. I've talked about this with, you know, I talked about it with Eric when I launched the Vanity Weight Era. It is harder to do this if you're extroverted because you tend to want to go out to eat more and like are more sociable. I'm not though, and I actually feel super introverted now in a way that I haven't in a long time. So that part of it is also easier for me. Like, I don't have a fear of missing out, for example. Like, I don't. So that type of stuff helps me too. So you have to look at like, I do think there is a little bit of a privileged aspect within a Vanity Weight Era, and I don't think you should feel bad if you can't do it at that moment. But you can still set things up and make yourself a plan to do it if you want to, but it might take more strategizing, and it might be something that isn't always accessible to everybody all the time. But other phases of weight loss, no. Mids and up, no. You can do it.
In general, we know this. I mean, look at Oprah, right? She is a billionaire, and that was one of her biggest struggles for most of her life was losing weight. So it really doesn't matter like how much money you have or don't have. It's hard for everyone.
The Chase Sapphire Lounge by the club.
It is.
Sure, it can be a lot easier. You have less going on in your life, for sure it's gonna be easier. But if losing weight is something that you want to do, like I said, you're still gonna have to do the same stuff. You have to accept that it's gonna be hard. And honestly, I think that weight loss, or really kind of any challenge in life, becomes easier when you accept that it's going to be hard. So
I agree with that. There's so much, I do think there is a little bit of a privileged aspect within a Vanity Weight Era, and I don't think you should feel bad if you can't do it at that moment. But you can still set things up and make yourself a plan to do it if you want to. But other phases of weight loss, no. I don't know if this is just American culture. I don't think so. I think maybe it's a young thing. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's a personality thing. But there is a concept within a lot of people that there's going to be some kind of relief, or there's some way to make something easier, or there's some way to make everything not miserable. And I honestly think that when it comes to weight loss, it's always difficult. You know, I never got on here and told you guys that it would ever be easy. I just tried to show you guys, and I do believe I did, that it is possible. Possible is not easy, but possible is real and available to you. And that's basically what I have fought for on this channel. But yes, it is difficult. You know, I'm never going to be totally happy while I'm losing weight. I'm not. There's always going to be some physical side effects, or there's always going to be some emotional side effects. There's always going to be something going on because I'm in a deficit. And that's a reality of the journey. So if you just accept that it is hard, that it's not fun, then it does make it easier to deal with, because so many people, you always think, well, why don't I just find a way to make it easier? Sometimes it can be more effort to try to find a way to make it easier than it's worth, or that, like, you can't always escape that. You just can't. And that's true of a lot of things. You know, it's not just about weight loss. Like, I have a friend who's in grad school, and it's tough. You know, they're not happy about being in grad school. They're not happy about the program they're in and stuff. And it's like, well, it is what it is. You know, they're not going to give up just because they're not happy. But it's like, sometimes you can't make it good. Sometimes it's not going to be fun no matter what you try. And I think a lot of people, especially like under 30, have that mindset of like, I can make it better, I can make it easier, I can do this, I can do that. And that's something that I have learned through maturing, is you can't always make it easier. Sometimes it's not about making something easy, it's about managing it in the best way you can. It's the same thing with conflicts. You can't always resolve conflicts. Often we have to manage them because they don't go away. It's the same thing with weight loss. You have to manage it. It's not always about making it not an issue whatsoever. That's not a realistic expectation. So I agree with her there, and it's funny she said that, because I've been thinking about that. And it's just funny because, like, when I was out of the deficit, it's like I am so much happier when I'm out of it. Like, I just experienced it, so I know. But it's like, that's okay. You know, it's okay. It's challenging, and that's okay. It's difficult, and that's okay. It's okay for things to be hard. It doesn't mean you should give up just because something's difficult.
For like the girls in those TikTok videos that I mentioned in my last video, yeah, girl, you're gonna have to eat the chickpea pasta. You're gonna probably have to say no to happy hour after work because you know you're not gonna stop at one drink. You're gonna eat the appetizers, and it's gonna derail your entire fitness progress for that week. Yes, you're probably gonna have to get up at 6 a.m. to go to that cycling class if that's the only time you can work out. Mm-hmm. And yes, you're gonna have to do these things pretty much every day for the rest of your life. That's if you want to maintain your weight, if you wanna stay slim. There's just really no other way around it. So again,
it's not as strict out of the deficit though. So you might not have to have chickpea pasta when you're out of the deficit. You might be able to just have pasta. But yeah, I mean, it's these little swaps and stuff. You're not going to be eating, 10 bags of chips a day or anything like that in maintenance. You're not.
For those of you who have a lot going on in your life, I get it. I'm not saying it's easy. But again, like I'm saying, you're still gonna have to do it. You're still gonna have to find the time to get this stuff done. It's probably gonna be a lot harder for you. But you know what? When you do finally achieve your goal, you're gonna have a better story to tell than I am, okay? So
that's a good
for
point.
you. But you can get mad at me all you want and complain about how hard it is. I believe you, I do. You know, you don't have to do it. You can stay fat. I mean, look, I'm not here to tell anyone to do anything with their body. I'm here to provide motivation and inspiration, to share what I know, because I know that a lot of people are not happy being fat and they do want to change. So if you do want to change, then you're gonna have to toughen up. You're gonna have to find a way around it. That's really just all there is to it. There is no one that can just
That's true. She's telling truth here. I think my version of it, let me do a little bit better of a pause face. My version of it is basically, it's maybe not toughening up, but it's accepting the sacrifice. There has to be a level of acceptance. That's what I'll say for the emotional ones, is there has to be acceptance. You have to accept, I am sacrificing this time. I'm sacrificing this moment. I am sacrificing here. And that's okay. So you don't always have to be tough, because I don't feel tough. I don't feel like weak. I just feel like exhausted and like I can't really fight like that anymore. I don't really want to fight like that anymore. I just want to be by myself and like lay in a bath forever. Like that's the kind of vibe I have. I feel very Lana. It was such an appropriate era for me. I feel like a low tempo song on a Lana album. Like I'm tired, but that's not bad. I mean, it's just accept the sacrifice, like accept it and just be like, okay, like I am gonna do this. And if you accept it and you accept that it's difficult, but you accept that you're gonna do it, for that time frame, I do suggest a time frame for this era specifically, then I feel like it does make it easier. And if you happen to be more introverted, you can really lock in and stay in your own lane. And even if not, you can do the Lauren Conrad thing, you know, just mind your business. It works. I do think it works. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just mind my business, stay in my own lane, not be dramatic, not be bitchy as much. Like, I just don't have it in me right now. My Scorpio is still in me, but my Scorpio is probably going to have to wait till I'm out of maintenance, or like till I'm in maintenance to come out, because my Scorpio is like lying dormant. And I'm a Leo, and my Leo feels like it's in dormancy as well. I feel like I'm running on pure Virgo. That's for my Astro Girly Pops, which I do have that in me. Because my Gemini is dead too. My Mars in Gemini is dead. I lived off of that when I was a mid-sized princess. I was like pure Gemini, and it's dead now. So now I have nothing. So are you happy? You all broke me. No, I'm just kidding. That sounds MSP, but no, I don't even care. even that raising my voice, I'm like, let me breathe for a second. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I have Virgo in me. I can run on Virgo. I can do it. I can just run on it forever. I'll just knit the next 3 months. I'll just use this every day. I'll just chill. I'll be a supporting character in the background. I don't care. I will sacrifice and just do the damn thing. And luckily I have that in me. I have the Virgo in me to do it. Use what you got. Figure out what you got. If you're an Astro Girly Pop, look at your chart, see what you can do in this phase. But I don't know if that witch hat's going to be coming out anytime soon. I'll put it to you that way. I don't know. That's my Scorpio in me. It's not here. It's there. It's just buried deep. Buried deep. The only thing I got that was Scorpio recently is I'm concerned. I'm scared that Taylor's going to choose bad singles when she launches her album. That's my Scorpio side. My Scorpio side's like, I don't trust Taylor to choose good singles. I'm worried. And it's probably just going to happen. She's probably going to pick a song that's not that great to be the lead single, and I'm just going to have to deal with it. But that's about all the energy that my Scorpio has. And I think my Scorpio does not like Travis Kelce. I'm sorry. Still, just something off. And I'm sorry. I wish them the best. I really do. I'm not here to fight about it. I don't have the energy to fight about it. I'm just telling you. I still don't like him. I just don't. And I can change. I can change it. That's all. That's the only communication I've had with my inner Scorpio. Other than that, it's out of commission. It's done. So I'm just letting y'all know. I'm letting you know.
Lose weight, okay? There's no one that can go to the gym for you. They cannot, make you eat a certain way. I mean, I guess you could take Ozempic and, like I said, I'm not entirely opposed to that. I mean, do what you gotta do, right? You're not gonna get anywhere by just complaining about how hard it is. It's gonna be hard. Life is hard. But you know what? You can do hard things. Doing hard things is what transforms you. Doing hard things is what makes you stronger. Yeah, doing hard things is part of the journey. And here's the other thing. Once you start doing the hard things and you do them more consistently and they become habit, they don't become that hard anymore. Again, the way I live my life is so radically different than the way I was living when I was an obese kid, okay? It's so different from how I grew up. Back then, 14-year-old me, or even me as a kid, would have been like, oh, there's no way I couldn't eat McDonald's every day. There's no way that I could eat so little. There's no way I could work out every day. But now that I've been doing this for almost 20 years, I mean, it's just become habit. It's my lifestyle. I love getting up and working out every morning. Like, I love working out. It is just something that has become
Her cat is so funny to me.
An important part of my lifestyle. The same with how I eat. I like eating healthy, okay? Like, my food staples are chicken, broccoli.
I look forward to maintenance too, because I want to, I want to pursue more athleticism within maintenance as well. I think I'm so excited for that aspect of next year to see what I can do, and I'm really excited for that. I think I'll probably venture onto the Stairmaster, for example, and I'll share all that with you guys. But I'm excited to test my body in that phase, in that era. I'm really excited for that because I think I do still want to push myself. I still want to grow and I still want to learn and all that stuff. And I am going to totally revamp my gym when I'm in maintenance. So it's exciting. That aspect is exciting.
Potatoes, oatmeal, all the good things, right? All the things that past me probably would have been like, bleh.
With UWA's online degrees, achieve.
No taste of that. That's gross. I love this stuff now. It's what makes me feel the best. I don't have that same manic trigger response to it when I eat it like I did when I ate junk food all the time. I can eat and feel satisfied and not feel like I just need to keep going. I look my best. I'm telling you, it is just such a world of transformation. But when you are continuously looking at these changes, as these habits, as this lifestyle, as something that's what I guess body positivity people would say, or fat acceptance would say is toxic, then yeah, it's gonna feel harder because it's gonna feel like punishment. But it's not punishment.
It's not.
Moving your body is not punishment, okay? Eating healthy is not punishment. It is what we all should be doing anyway. Again,
that's true. I agree with her there. It is not a punishment. I don't feel like, even at this stage, I don't feel like I'm punishing myself. I just feel like I am making a sacrifice for a lot of different reasons. And part of it because it's also, as much as it can be for, maybe romantic stuff or for activistic reasons, for public reasons, basically, it's also for me. It's a sacrifice I'm making for myself because I do want to be somewhat snatched. I do. And I know I do, even if I forget it sometimes in the deficit because I get into that dieting nihilism where I'm like, who cares about anything? As soon as I'd get out of the deficit, I'd get to maintenance, my brain would turn back on and I'd be like, oh no, I do want this, And I'm aware of that. So it's like, it's okay. It's not a punishment, but it is difficult, and that's also okay.
Regardless if you are skinny or fat. So, quite frankly, get over it. Get over it. I'm sorry. You don't like broccoli. Oh, you don't like walking. You don't like healthy foods. You don't like working out. I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, then don't lose weight. Stay fat. Stay fat. If it's really that miserable for you, and if you really find that more miserable than being fat, then stay fat. Again, that's fine. You can do that. But if you are someone who, like me, you're not happy with being fat and you do want to change, then this is what I'm going to tell you. Accept that it's going to be hard. It's going to be boring sometimes. Your entire lifestyle is going to have to change. Your friends might change. Your family might change. You're going to have to become a different person. But I imagine, again, if you are like me, you probably want to become a different person. It's scary. I get it. It can be scary going from what you've known all your life, or maybe the past, to this new version of yourself that does different things on a daily basis, that speaks differently, that dresses differently, that probably has different friends. Again, get over it. Okay, it's scary. Change is always scary.
It's a next chapter. It's turning the page, and that's okay. You know, it's okay. It is a very Scorpionic thing. I do wonder if she has Scorpio in her chart. But, you know, for me, my Scorpio side, that's where I could just be like, I'm totally burning down the way my life was, and I'm completely changing everything. And I did it. But yes, like what she's saying here, this is a lot of how I was thinking in the beginning. And I think that that is kind of a universal thought process in the beginning. But for me, that part of me, the witch, so to speak, the witch is like, burn it all down, you know? And I did. I definitely did. So it's like, she's right.
Any great thing you do in life, anything that helps you level up, it's going to be hard. It's going to be scary. And I think that's why so many people stay complacent. That's why so many people never accomplish their dreams. That's why so many people are still fat. If you don't want to be like so many people, if you want to live your ideal life, then toughen up. Toughen up or stay fat and miserable. That's all there is to it. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the 1 Year 100 Pounds podcast. If you did,
thank you so much.
And please give me.
And thank you so much. I'm trying to get a good shot. Thank you so much for reacting to me. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for this video, because I definitely feel more motivated. So it worked. Even though I'm like born to die right now, it's okay. I'm so tired, but I appreciate it, and I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate everybody for being so supportive during my era shift. That's tough, but I appreciate you all, and I appreciate everything. I'm just appreciative, honestly. I am. Thank you guys so much. I will talk to you guys soon. Talk to you guys later. Bye.